Okay, first things first, we need to talk about what's going on with my forehead, because I know a lot of people are going to ask. The real story is that I ran into a tree branch while hiking a few days ago, and I emerged like the evil stepsister of Harry Potter. That aside, in today's video, I am going to be talking about decluttering your home, decluttering your possessions, and truly increasing the quality of your life. I know I've made videos about this in the past, but this will be like way more intense. A lot of videos on decluttering and minimalism can seem a bit intimidating because they often present these spaces that appear to be like untouchable and unlived in, and the reality is that your space should never feel like that. I think your space should be a reflection of the things that you love and things that you feel passionate about, but it shouldn't be a space where you're like tiptoeing around so that you don't mess up the room. And I think it can be a big deterrent when we see these perfect, beautiful spaces that just seem unattainable. So I want to talk a bit about my own experience and some of the things I've been doing in the past couple of months, because all I can say is that this has been truly life-changing for me. And if you are someone who is struggling with your own clutter at home, I'm gonna give you some tips to tackle that. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice the things that you love and use to create a clean space, but if you're decluttering correctly, then you shouldn't have to. I really think that our home has been completely transformed, and what it came down to was honestly getting a bit of help and just finding a proper strategy for going through everything efficiently. I know that not everyone can hire a home organizer to help them with their space, but for me, it was one of the best uses of money for me, and I learned a lot of valuable things, and in the meantime I've been decluttering on my own. So I wanted to kind of take you guys through my own process, and I am nervous to show you some of the spaces in my home that you guys have not seen before. It feels embarrassing, but I want to be completely transparent about it. No matter how I present myself on the internet or how I might come across, this has been such a struggle for me, and I do try to articulate that and tell you guys, but until you really see it, maybe you don't fully understand how problematic this has been. So a couple of months ago, my cousin, who also lives in Los Angeles, introduced me to this woman named Shara, who is a home organizer based out of Beverly Hills, and my cousin had been hiring her to help with some rooms in their house after she had a baby. And we connected and we immediately started talking, and then we hired her for a couple different rooms in our house. She's coming over, I think, again in a couple of weeks to help Nick with some of his stuff in the garage. But we first started with this closet. We had just basically been like throwing things in. The reason I chose to start with this closet is because I wanted to have a space where I could store things that I wasn't using, but a space that was organized and didn't like elicit these negative feelings for me when I opened the door. It's now been a couple of months since we did that project, and the closet is just as clean and organized as it was when she came. So after we tackled the closet, we decided to tackle the worst room in our home, which you're going to see in just a few short minutes. And then after you see the footage, I want to come back on and just give you guys a few basic tips for starting if you're going through this yourself. I now present to you one of our deepest secrets, and something that I thought I would never share with the internet, but here we go. Hi. How's it going?
I have more stuff to bring in from the car. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is Shara.
Nice to meet you.
And she has brought all of her organization tools, and we are gonna set up in the bedroom where the madness is, which is behind this door. This is terrifying for me to show you guys. I mean, I don't really know what I can say about this space, except it's just a collection of things that have traveled with us each time we've moved, and things that we've both accumulated over the years. And obviously this is not a sustainable way to live. It's not a healthy way to live. It's actually like spilling out into the bedroom. There's things over here because the room is full up to the door, so I've just started like pushing clutter into the bedroom, and that's not cool either. Like, our bedroom is pretty clean, but you would never know this is back here. Okay, so Shara has been here for like 10 minutes and she is not playing around. I'm gonna show you guys kind of the rundown of how we are getting rid of things. Anything that's trash goes in here. Anything that is a donation goes over here. And anything that can be recycled goes here. And then in the second bedroom, we're doing some organization of things that I'm keeping, which we will go through again later. We're just getting started, and I'm gonna keep you guys posted as we make more progress. Alright, remove my tripod.
Goodbye, spider babies.
Alright, it's 3:30, and we've been working since like a little after 10. This room is finally cleared out. It feels crazy. I feel as though you enjoy this part a lot. I do too. It's nice though. It's like a fresh space.
It is. It's a fresh start. It smells good.
So this trunk was in the room already. Since we have it already, we're gonna use it as a storage space for some of my camera equipment and tripods and stuff like that. And it's a cute way, I think, to just store that stuff for now at least. And then potentially, I wanna find a minimal desk for this area so I can have a computer in here and use this room as kind of a workspace. There's a lot of possibilities.
All this equipment belongs together.
So let's take a look at our categories. This is all donation stuff. These are electronics that are being taken to a special place to be recycled. I have some empty cosmetic containers that have already been rinsed out and everything, so those need to be taken to a special place as well. And then over here we have like a lot of donation stuff. And then in the second bedroom, everything that we are keeping, we have sorted into categories. Compared to what was in that room to start with, we've really pared it down significantly. And I think we can do a little bit more as we continue to go through each category. Writing labels for all of our things. All right, now that we've put everything back in the room that we're keeping, this is pretty much what we are left with. And there's some projects that I'm going to actually work on later tonight. Shara is finishing up with labeling some of our things, but I wanted to quickly introduce her because I realized we didn't actually do it, a full introduction at the beginning of the video, but she is in Los Angeles, she's based in Beverly Hills, and she is available for all of your organizing needs. She's also honestly really easy to spend time with and just very good at her job. Like I was planning on filming a lot more today, but we kind of like zoomed through everything and boxes were just flying out of the rooms. And I will link Shara's Instagram and her website below and everything like that. Coming to the end of our organizing day. These are just some donations that are left. We've already taken everything out to be recycled. And it's pretty much it. Shara is helping me with something in the closet quickly. Yeah, it's a new space. I can't stop looking in here. It just feels so nice in here now. So much nicer to look through too. We don't have to hide the room. This way. Now that we have finished our big project, do you have any tips that you can give everyone else for just organizing, like if they're undertaking a big project?
I mean, the best thing you could do is just start, you know, and you may not have a whole day. You may not be able to hire a professional, and that's okay too. You know, set a timer for 30 minutes, take one box, go through it, and a little bit at a time, one step forward, you'll get there.
Hello again. I have just rewatched the same footage that you guys just watched with shock and horror, and I am here now at the end to give you some really important tips so that you can start your own journey with decluttering. Some of these were things that I've learned throughout my own experience, and some of them were recommended to me by Shara, and I think she gave some incredible advice on how to get started. And the first thing is just to get started. It is really difficult sometimes to find that initial motivation, so pick a time, pick a day, make a small plan, and get started. The second tip I have for you guys, which is something that Shara told me, is to sort items into categories and then go through each category as a whole. Because if you're looking at a room full of tons of different things and you're going through each item like individually, it's going to be a lot more draining and difficult versus sorting the items initially into categories and then going through each category where you can really look at what you have, you know, as a whole. Now, if you don't do this, it's going to feel a lot more tedious and it's probably going to take a lot more time. The third thing is something that is super important to me and hopefully something that's important to you guys, which is to get rid of items responsibly. There are so many things that can be donated and recycled, and we don't need to throw everything away. Although it is important to make the distinction between items that need to be put in the trash versus items that can be reused or recycled. This is something that I really struggled with, and because I was so scared of putting items in the trash that maybe had another use, I put off decluttering for way longer than I should have. One of the sites that Shara told me about is called earth911.com. It's a database where you can literally enter any item that you're getting rid of or any category of items like books or clothing, as well as your zip code, and it will give you a list of drop-off areas in your location. So that should make things a bit easier, but there are tons of resources for makeup and for just honestly really everything. You also don't want to be unloading your garbage onto other people so that they have to go through those things as well, which is why it is important to drop off things appropriately and trash what you absolutely have to trash. But remember that trash stays on this planet forever. It goes into landfills. Some of it can be incinerated, but generally it just goes underground where it very rarely fully biodegrades. The next tip, which I cannot stress enough, is do not be afraid to ask for help. I know, again, that not everyone can afford to hire a home organizer, but there are so many options for getting help, and I think it's very beneficial to have somebody else with you when you're going through possessions, especially when we develop emotional attachments to certain items. It can be very hard for us to go through them on our own and objectively look at them and decide whether or not we should get rid of them. Having an extra person around really helps with that whole process, and it makes things more exciting, more fun. It also just helps with the motivation factor. So do not be afraid to ask for help. If you can't afford to hire a professional, think about inviting a couple of your best friends over, ordering pizza for everybody, and just making a night of it. I have 2 more tips left for you guys, and they are really simple. One is to wait and get new items and new furniture for a space until you have fully decluttered the space. This is really important because if you're getting more things before you finish going through everything, you're just going to be making things harder on yourself, and you could be over purchasing and over consuming. I know the thought of redecorating can be really exciting, but wait until you have fully tackled the space before you go out and bring new items into the home. And of course, when the time comes, I would always encourage you to buy secondhand when possible. There are so many great items already in existence and in circulation that we can reuse, and often I think that they bring more character into the home. My last tip is something that you guys have heard so many times before, which is less is more. I cannot tell you how good it feels to wake up in my bed and look through this door at a decluttered space. This is what it looks like now. Like, this is a completely different space. It just feels so open. And even, you know, having the door open, it's just nice. When you walk in the room, it is just such a clean space. It still has things that we love. There's just nothing in the way. There are wrinkles on the bed because we sleep in the bed every night. This is a lived-in home, but it's still really organized and clean. And the way that our house looks now is motivation enough to keep it this way. So let's walk out here quickly. I know this video is getting kind of long. I just want to show you how I've continued to declutter in other areas of our home. This is our dining room and kitchen area. It's simple, it's clean, it feels good. At the same time, you know, we live here, so there's dishes that we've been washing, laundry that we need to do, but it's not overwhelming. Now, there are some parts of the house that still need work, including this area. And this is one of my priorities to focus on because it is somewhere that things get shoved. So I'm not perfect, things are still a work in progress. And since Shara came over the first time, I've really been motivated to do a lot of things on my own. I ripped apart our kitchen and went through all of our food cabinets. I organized the fridge, I organized the bathroom. This sink used to be full of all of my clutter, and the solution was to get this beautiful secondhand cabinet where I can now keep my toiletries and things. This is a space that I am not scared to walk into, and a space that I'm not scared for friends to use when they come over. And I'm slowly and surely feeling that way about all of the rooms in our home. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you would like more videos on home organization and minimalism and things like that, let me know in the comment section below. If this was encouraging to you and you feel the desire to tackle your own clutter, let me know in the comment section below as well. I look forward to seeing you guys all very soon in my very clean home, and I will talk to you then. What is the weirdest thing you've found going through someone else's stuff?
You know, if it has meaning to you, then I don't think it's weird. It's not for me to judge. So we're in a no judgment zone.